Hey Tom, I'm going to show you what I do to lube my chain. I'm going to go ahead and I got the new 12-speed axis chain still soaking in the kerosene, but I'm going to go ahead and lube this 11-speed chain on my bike as it sits because I can't remember the last time I lubed it, and I'm going out for 52 in the morning. So just wanted to show you that this is as dirty as my chain gets. I mean, this has been on here a while. That's as dirty as the drive gets, and that's as dirty as I can stand it. Okay, the rest of the bike is kind of has been neglected. And, I got some road gunk on there and whatnot, but I try to keep the drive as clean as possible. And you can see with commercial lubes, you just get so much gunk from the road that everything just turns black, and your fingers turn black when you touch it. Whereas, I'm gonna get a little bit of, that's as much as I get on my fingers from this. And again, this chain's been on here, I don't know, it's got to be a couple hundred miles since I lubed it. I didn't really do a good job of keeping track of it this time. But yeah, so the general process is I'll take that chain off there, and I will take this chain out of the kerosene. I normally store the kerosene in this jar, and I use these magnets here to clarify the kerosene. I try to not use too much kerosene over the course of the year. That chain that's on that bike will turn this kerosene black. Okay, the new chain obviously didn't do that, but the kerosene will be black. And then a week in the storage jar with the magnets, and it'll be just as, almost as clear as new. So once I do that, I take the chain out of the kerosene. I'll just shake it around for a little bit, let it sit for a while, and then I usually take it out and just let it dry in the sun while I'm finishing up washing the rest of the bike. Let all the kerosene evaporate off of it, and then I take it over here to the crock pot, which is heating up as we speak. I hope it's heating up anyway. But you can see the mixture that I have of paraffin wax, which is just the golf wax that you use in the canning section. You get from the canning section of the grocery store. I put the chain in this little strainer that I rigged up with some wire, and just drop it into the whole thing. Just let it sit there for 10-15 minutes or whatnot. Chain comes out pretty hot. Then I'll take the chain out right away, and I'll wipe it all off and get the excess wax off. The only part on the chain where you actually need any lube whatsoever is in the rollers, in between the rollers and the pins. All right. Any lube that's anywhere else on the chain is doing nothing but attracting dirt. Okay. It's not doing it. It's not helping at all. You don't need any lube on the cog, the cassettes. You don't need any lube anywhere else with respect to the chain drive. So that's what I'm going to do, and maybe if I can do this video right, I'll just pause it and start it back up, but usually I screw that up. So that's the general process. Check out this 12-speed chain. The flat top design threw me when it first came out, but it's growing on me. They had to keep it flat on the top because the chain's thinner and they needed to add some stiffness to it, but it's pretty cool. Again, we're just taking the packing grease off. It's kind of a cosmoline type substance. Some people think that it's a good actual chain lube, but it's not. Don't listen to any bullshit about that. So removing the chain is just a matter of finding the missing link. KMC calls it a missing link. I don't know what Tram calls it. Power link or something like that. And just use your handy dandy chain breaker tool. I think these cost about $10. And you just where'd it go? Somewhere in there. Yeah, just it's easier with two hands. That, and I'm going to turn it off here because it's going to fly apart and fling the link across the garage if I don't. So in the dirty chain goes, and you can see this solution will turn black with just a couple of shakes. Even as clean as that chain was, or clean as it looked, as it appears to be. Yeah, not black, but maybe it hasn't been as long as... If I'd let it sit there for a while, it would get pretty darn black. I'm going to let it sit for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes while the paraffin melts. And it's slowly going. I'll drink this fine homemade porter and get back to you. So the wax mixture is just basically, I don't know if your parents or your mom canned when you were a kid or not, but it's just Gulf wax. Like you said, buy it in the canning section. I get it at Kroger. It just comes in a block or 4 blocks like that. I mix 2 of the blocks with I think they come out to be about 500 grams, and I mix 50 grams of that PTFE powder that I get from China off of eBay. I didn't used to add the PTFE. It's a new thing for me. So I'm just trying it out. Basically, this will be the second or third time that I wax a chain with it. To tell you the truth, I can't really tell much of a difference, but supposedly it adds to a less friction scenario. You see that it takes, it pays to pre-plan all this stuff out. If you turn your wax on at the right time as you're washing your bike. I'm not going to wash my whole bike tonight because it's raining tonight, and it's going to probably rain in the morning, so the roads are going to be wet, so I'm just not going to waste the time washing the bike. But yeah, you can see that the clouds are pretty gray. Like I said, this is the last time I'll be doing this chain anyway. But yeah, we're going to head on out tomorrow, 5 or 6 of us, that away, and do 52 miles. The chain's been soaking for less than 10 minutes now, and you can see that I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of here. You can see that the liquid has turned somewhat black. I've seen it worse. And you'll see some once I pull it out there, you'll see some sediment that falls off at the bottom. The materials that it picks up is just basically road grime, and you'll be surprised at how much metal is sitting along the side of the road. That's why it's magnetic, and that's why the magnets do a great job of cleaning it up. You can see the grime that sticks to the magnets. These were silver when I bought them. These are just those neodymium magnets you get at Home Depot. I wipe them off from time to time. You can see the gunk on them. Never get into focus. It's not going to focus. Here, I got it to focus now. You can see the gunk that gets on them. The chain's out, and you can see all the grime that came off with it. And that's just stuff that's just robbing watts and eating away at your drive chain. Imagine what a dirty chain would do to this, would look like after it came out of the kerosene. And then here's the actual chain that just came out. Clean as new. So now everything's melted, kinda. This PTFE, it's a white powder. It doesn't fully dissolve, so I mean, it used to be it was a clear liquid when I wasn't using the PTFE as an additive. I got my chain in my little basket here. Just dip it on down there and submerge it and spin it around a little bit. Kill the heat. It'll stay liquid. It's not going to solidify or anything like that while I have it in there. But just leave it in there for a few minutes. Let it penetrate. Swish it around. Make sure it gets in the bearings real good, or in the rollers. And come up here and pour this stuff back in its storage jar. And I'll go ahead and wipe the rest of that residue out. Make it a little bit easier. Stick those back in. I used to come out to the garage, you know, and just stir the magnets every once in a while, but I found out it clarifies on its own. So I'll put that up here, and it'll be clear by the time I want to use it again. And that's what you got left. Like I said, the PTFE is a new kind of thing for me, so it's not something I'm sold on. I used to just mix a little bit of lamp oil in it with it, kerosene lamp oil. I don't know if I still got some up here somewhere. Yeah, this stuff up here. And make a mixture of the paraffin and the lamp oil. But I'm not doing that anymore. Who knows what's best? This supposedly approaches the best formulation from the newest research that was done after that histogram that I sent you earlier. Paraffin wax is still one of the best, but they found by adding some additives that you can make it even better. So probably gonna call it at that point. Just pull it out and wipe off the excess and get ready to ride tomorrow. And got it pulled out. And go ahead and wipe it off while it's still nice and molten. Bodie says hi. Say hi, buddy. Where's the puppy? I forgot to caution you, it's very, very hot. So you want to have a paper towel to wrap it around it immediately to avoid burning your fingers. But yep, I'll go ahead and that'll re-solidify. I'll go ahead and get the excess wax off of this strainer. I don't store it inside there. Just kind of take the heat gun and melt that off and let it drip back into the pan. But you can reuse this wax, you know, until it just gets to the point where it's dirty, because you don't get the chain 100% clean. So some dirt will build up inside the wax, and I just kind of use it to make fire starters for the fire pit. So now we'll go ahead and reinstall the chain. You got no low ring. Let it get. Hold on a second. It's hard to do while you're holding the camera. Got it loaded back on. Just gotta connect it with the missing links. And this little tool is helpful. It's actually my chain checker, but it's got a couple of checks for the chain wear. It's Pedro's, but it's got a little couple of teeth at the top there. You can just help you reattach the links. So you got that and that. Just takes up the slack or gives you some slack to go ahead and put it together, make it easier. And then when you got it together, kinda, not all the way, you just pull that out. And then you got that link. It's not set properly, so you just rotate it to the top. And once it's on the top, you go ahead and grab the brake, and then just give one of the cranks a tug in the forward direction, and it'll seat right away. Again, too hard to do with one hand. So, but now it's seated. That free hub's getting a little loud too. If I wasn't about to change it out, I'd go ahead and give it a shot of some of the lube that goes in there. But that's essentially it. I'll go ahead and run it through run it around a few times. You can kind of see the wax flaking off a little bit. Didn't used to do that before I did the PTFE as much. It wasn't as noticeable. So again, I'm not sold on that PTFE, but all the excess wax that I couldn't wipe off is now flaking off. Again, I'm not sure I'm going to stick with that PTFE stuff, but and as far as the noise, you know, people say, oh, it's a noisier, but a noisy drivetrain is not necessarily a slow drivetrain. That's what what's one of the things the Fiction Facts guys who made that histogram found out. So, is it noisy? You tell me. Is it noisy? Don't know. But I don't hear it among the road noise when I'm riding. So, all good. Talk to you later, brother.